lovelies, and welcome to another video. With the end of Inktober and us finally moving into an actual house, I suddenly find myself with a lot of time on my hands and no idea what to do with it. So naturally my thoughts have started, not for the first time, turning to the future. This essay is a bit of a clusterfuck of my endless ramblings, but I hope it can inspire you to think, or at the very least supply you with some nice background noise. So yeah, here we go. What do I want to do? A 6-letter question that seems intimidating at first, but the answer is so easy. I've narrowed it down to 3 points. Tell stories, create art, and ultimately, leave an impact. The real difficulty is what to do with the answer. There are so many paths to take, so many roads constantly opening and closing around us that we'll never notice them, and if we do, it's likely too late. That's scary. We don't like limiting our options, and with time inexorably flowing out of our hands like sand, we freeze. Pushed into a corner by our own fears and insecurities that our decisions at 18 or even 12 will predetermine the next 50 years of our life. That's terrifying. I can't say what your path is, or tell you what to do with your thoughts. I can only grasp at straws and hope I can get some semblance over my own life, because even the best sailor has no control over the sea. All he can do is watch the wind, tend to his ship, and stay steady on his course. We are all sailing somewhere, on our own paths, on different seas. Some are stormier than others, and some barely endure a ripple. Some ships sink before the journey's even started, and others, try as they might, never make it past the shore. But we all share one thing in common. We are human. We can think. We can feel. We are alive. That in of itself is a miracle in our vast, lifeless void of the universe, but we have something even greater. Something that gives our lives purpose and makes us different from ants, plants, and dogs and cats. We have the foresight to charter our own paths. We can plan. We can dream. Humans can look into the future, decide what we want to be in it, and play for the long game. We can play the cards fate has given us to make the best we can of what we have. We are not as helpless as we think, though that only deters some people, because having control, even if it's only a little bit, is terrifying. But that doesn't mean you should throw the reins away. Fear will always be there. It is what kept our ancestors alive, and it is our body's attempt at keeping us safe. Avoiding fears to avoid what makes life, life. If you live chained by your fears, you will never chase your dreams. You'll never face rejection, true, but at the same time, you'll never experience the thrill of acceptance, of love, of success, of fulfillment. However, that doesn't mean you should try to bury your fear. Fear is what kept our ancestors alive in the caves, after all, and it is our body, our instincts, trying to keep us safe, even to our own detriment. Most likely, you will fear the things that will make you better, because if your current situation is secure, your body doesn't want to risk it changing. So equip it. Use fear to your advantage. Chase after what terrifies you, because most likely, it's what your soul wants to do. What am I trying to say with my vague metaphors, you're probably asking? Okay, I'll say it plainly. Follow your dreams. Don't let the fear of failure keep you from trying, because failure is inevitable. There is no avoiding it. But it isn't bad. Failure is a teacher. You only really fail if you ignore the lessons it gives you, so learn from it. But here I go again, rambling on and losing my train of thought. What was my point again? Oh, right, the future. Currently, because the present is different from the future and past, and those are subject to change, I have 3 goals, 3 wishes deep in my subconscious. What do I want to do? Tell stories. So should I chain myself to my laptop, spinning in circles like I've done for years, laboring over a story that might never get finished? What if people don't like it? Or worse, what if I don't like it when everything's all said and done? After all, nothing's worse than a creator hating their own creation. What do I want to do? Create art. That is easy, because how can one give up something so ingrained into their personality? I have never stopped drawing since the day I first held a crayon at age 4, and I have no intentions of stopping. Because how can I? But what do I do when the inspiration runs out? What do I do when I present my best, my blood, sweat, and tears to the world, but am overshadowed by another? Or, and this is my current standpoint, only a handful of people even notice. Nothing is worse than presenting your best only to be ignored. What do I want to do? Leave an impact. An admirable dream, sure, but how does one stand out amongst a sea of genius? How can a nameless painter stand side by side Michelangelo in the Library of Athens without being overshown? In our ever-expanding world of technology, you can pour your very soul into something for hours, months, even years. You cry, sweat, and sacrifice. And for what? If you're lucky, because luck is cruel and favors at random, you grasp a taste of the limelight. A second, maybe a minute if you're truly fortunate. Then the masses move on to the next masterpiece, the next biggest thing, and you are left behind as another byte in the ever-growing database of our electronic world. Years later, maybe a couple people will remember. Briefly. And that is only if you're lucky. Hundreds, if not thousands of others never get that far. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the doubts clinging to these thoughts, threatening to swallow them whole and spit them out? Because I do. Because I've been fighting these thoughts for years. And if you follow the path of the creative, you do too. Even if you don't recognize it yet. The fear of failure. The fear of being unseen. The fear of being forgotten. All of these are potent, crippling monsters that, as much as we check under the bed before we sleep, will always be there, dogging our restless nights and waking dreams. How can we fight the reality of our world? Isn't it inevitable that we'll all be forgotten in the end? No one will mourn us when the earth dies, unless humanity, by some miracle, finds a way to embark amongst the stars, if we don't destroy ourselves first. But even then, I doubt my name will stand alongside Leonardo da Vinci, J.R. Tolkien, or Mozart, if even they are remembered at all. So what's the point? The point, I suppose, is in the act. Life is a constant, never-ending march towards an unknown destination. It doesn't look back. And even though we humans have the minds to remember our past, it is still that, the past. But we have the present, and the present shapes the future. Constantly we connect with others. We impact each other and ourselves. Be it good or bad, every day, every minute, every second we are changing our world and ourselves. The trick, then, is to build the right foundations. How can I possibly do that? Another six-worded question. And another simple answer. Follow your dream. Briefly consult with your fears and doubts, but ultimately ignore them. Even if you don't become the next Freddie Mercury, even if life decides to cut your story short before it even starts, you would have done something amazing. You would have followed your heart. I know it sounds stupid, but it matters. It doesn't matter if 100 people are impacted by your dream. It doesn't matter if 1,000 are impacted. Not a single other person needs to feel the impact of your dream in order for it to matter. Because if it is truly your passion, what makes you happy, then that is enough. Because you have impacted yourself. So go out there. Run off with the circus if that's truly what you want. Even if you decide it isn't what you want in a couple years or even a couple weeks, you would have still followed your dream. And because of that, you won't have to live with the what-if scenario. So don't fear the future. Because as long as you keep your compass straight and sails unfurled, there'll be no need to. You won't wake up in your 60s and realize you've wasted your life because you didn't. Even for a moment. Even for a second. Because you would have lived life your way, following what you want. And even if that doesn't amount to success or fame in the end, it wouldn't have been pointless. Because it made you happy. And that's what matters. A big shout out to all my patrons over on Patreon, including Goose, Lisa, and Kathy. Thanks for supporting me, like you always do. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video. And yeah, stay safe, have fun, and have a good day.